If one were to encapsulate this queen in a single word, it would undoubtedly be duty. Mary of Teck was not destined by birth to inherit the crown. However, through an unexpected turn of events, she became the figure who preserved it for Britain. In this exploration, the most captivating aspects of her actual history will be examined, alongside her depiction in The Crown. Before proceeding, it is kindly requested that you take a moment to acknowledge your appreciation for this video. This subject matter is profoundly engaging, and it would be wonderful if more individuals had the opportunity to learn about it. To begin the narrative of Mary of Teck, it is important to start with her formative years, as that period and its occurrences laid the groundwork for her character and many of her defining attributes. Mary, or May as she was known within her family, was born in the very same room in Kensington Palace where Queen Victoria had been born before her, a woman who would later exert a significant influence on Mary's life. The arrival of a healthy baby girl was perceived as a kind of miracle within the family for a couple of reasons. Firstly, her mother, Mary Adelaide, was regarded as an older mother relative to the standards of that era. Secondly, on account of her considerable weight, she had encountered difficulties in finding a spouse, earning her the unfortunate epithet, Fat Mary. Prince Francis of Teck, hailing from the small German kingdom of Württemberg, held the title of prince, but was far from wealthy and not in close proximity to the throne. For him, marrying Mary Adelaide was a dream fulfilled. Both of them, in a sense, had been unwanted in the marriage market, and this shared experience may have been what ultimately united them. Nevertheless, they had 4 offspring and enjoyed a contented, albeit frequently humiliating and debt-ridden, life at court. Despite Mary Adelaide being a granddaughter of George III and a cousin to Queen Victoria, their family still maintained a rather distant position at court. Their royal allocation was modest, amounting to only £5,000 annually, and even that came with stipulations. Mary Adelaide was required to perform public duties on behalf of the crown. She actively participated in this capacity and frequently involved her daughter, the young Mary, in visits to impoverished residences and charitable organizations. This marked Mary's initial introduction to public life, a skill that would prove invaluable to her later as queen. However, the Vadel family possessed expensive tastes that far surpassed their financial means. They indulged in gourmet cuisine, elegant attire, and a lifestyle excessively lavish for their resources. Eventually, the debts accumulated to such an extent that they collectively departed from England and began visiting relatives across Europe, a discreet means of evading creditors. A rather ingenious strategy indeed. If one is financially strained, one can simply dine at the homes of relatives. This humiliating situation had a profound impact on Mary. Throughout her life, she evolved into an exceptionally rational woman, and despite her acknowledged fondness for diamonds, possibly from a psychological perspective, a method of compensating for the humiliation of her youth, she remained extremely thrifty when it came to royal expenditure. During the First World War, she instituted a stringent austerity program at court. It has even been reported that she personally maintained records of household spending and procurement. That's how her upbringing influenced this particular facet of her character. You may have also encountered rumors suggesting that she was accused of kleptomania, alleging that during royal visits, small trinkets she admired would inexplicably vanish from aristocratic residences. Naturally, no one ever apprehended her in the act.
However, perhaps that too was a lingering echo of her early encounters with scarcity and social insecurity. Thus, when their daughter was chosen by Queen Victoria as a potential spouse for the heir to the throne, Prince Albert Victor, her parents were overjoyed.
It felt as though a new chapter was commencing on the horizon. Victoria did not select Mary of Teck arbitrarily. She esteemed her composed demeanor and pronounced sense of responsibility. However, initially the queen had another individual in mind for the future queen of England and wife to the heir. And here the narrative shifts to the crown and its portrayal of this in the series. Recall the episode concerning Mary of Teck, wherein she decides against sending a ship to rescue the Romano family in Russia, resulting in their execution and abandonment by their English relatives. In the series, Penny Notchbull asserts that Mary had long harbored envy towards the beauty of the Russian Empress Alexandra, and that this jealousy prevented her from assisting a former rival, that Alexandra, or Alex, was in fact Queen Victoria's favorite granddaughter, and the one she initially desired as a bride for the heir. On the 2nd of March 1888, Victoria wrote to a lackey's elder sister, "My feelings and thoughts are focused on securing via a lackey for either Eddie or Georgie, but her granddaughter entertained different ideas." And in all honesty, Albert Victor, despite being the heir to the throne, was not exactly an ideal choice. Alex's sister described him in her correspondence as unintelligent, a sentiment shared by his instructors and counselors. Furthermore, he was embroiled in controversy. His identity surfaced on a register of attendees at a male brothel, reportedly frequented by individuals seeking private, intimate encounters with other men. Consequently, the heir to the throne, originally considered for Alex, was then presented to Mary.
For her, this engagement signified a lifeline for the entire lineage. His unexpected passing merely weeks following the betrothal stunned everyone, particularly Mary's father, who, according to accounts from the time, appeared to experience a mental collapse. But as we are aware, Mary eventually wed his younger sibling, George, and their union evolved into a symbol of dependability, stability, and profound affection. A short time before his demise, during his Jubilee address, George expressed his gratitude to his wife, instructing his speechwriter, "Position that passage right at the conclusion." I lack the self-assurance to articulate my sentiments regarding the Queen when I reflect on my indebtedness to her. Their private correspondence also survives, though restrained and conventional in the public sphere, aligning with the expected decorum of royalty during that era. In their personal writings, they conveyed tenderness toward one another. George penned, "My thoughts were consumed by you throughout the train journey here. I was unaware that I could experience your absence so intensely." Mary responded, "Except that my love for you surpasses my affection for anyone else globally, a sentiment I find challenging to express verbally. Hence, I commit it to writing to alleviate my emotions." Their robust, unwavering marriage, devoid of extramarital affairs or numerous mistresses, unlike Bertie, King Edward VII, proved precisely what the nation required amidst the First World War and the tumultuous years that ensued. In an epoch marked by widespread fatalities on the battlefield and widespread hardship experienced domestically, a frivolous, pleasure-seeking monarch would have ignited public discontent. Conversely, a steadfast royal couple embodying family principles resonated deeply with the populace. However, revisiting the subject of the crown, was there authentic competition existing between these two women? Definitively, we lack certainty. In the ultimate analysis, both ascended to the position of empresses,
and their respective families even convened in matrimony, given the familial relationship between their spouses as cousins. The subsequent occasion gave rise to those iconic, almost comical portraits, those depicting George V and Nicholas II, where differentiating between them is nearly impossible. Genetics and royal lineage are undeniably intriguing aspects. In any event, history has demonstrated that Mary possessed precisely the qualities required by the British Crown to navigate the turbulence of the nascent 20th century. Alexandra, also known as Alex, who later became the Russian Empress, regrettably made decisions and espoused viewpoints that merely accelerated her nation's trajectory toward revolution. At this juncture, I wish to draw a comparison between these two women, not with the intention of criticizing one or extolling the virtues of the other, but rather to elucidate how Mary of Teck's character and actions contributed to safeguarding the British monarchy from collapse. Upon Alex's ascension to the position of Empress of Russia, she disregarded Queen Victoria's counsel that cultivating the affection of the populace was paramount. She harbored a conviction in the unwavering devotion of the Russian people toward their sovereignty. She became isolated within her familial sphere and distanced herself from courtly engagements. Conversely, Mary of Teck held her nation with steadfast metnic. Consider the two royal excursions she embarked upon alongside George. Each expedition spanned 8 months as they traversed the expansive British Empire via train and ship. She cherished her offspring, yet candidly acknowledged the distress she felt when, upon returning home, her youngest children failed to recognize her. Both women had a youngest son afflicted with a severe ailment. Alexei, the son and heir of the Romanovs, suffered from hemophilia, a hereditary disorder that had permeated numerous European royal households owing to Queen Victoria's ancestry. Mary's youngest son, John, experienced epilepsy. In both instances, the health of the heir exerted an influence on the public's perception of the monarchy. In her desperation to shield Alexei, Alex turned to Grigory Rasputin, an impostor who purported to be a holy individual. His dominion over the imperial family became so pronounced that rumors began to circulate, even suggesting the empress was engaged in an extramarital liaison with him.
Of course, that was likely revolutionary propaganda, but the connection to Rasputin was the definitive blow to the Russian monarchy. Mary of Teck, in contrast, stood accused of concealing her son from the world out of a sense of shame.
However, in actuality, he was incorporated into family life to the greatest extent feasible until his death at the age of 11. Thus, did Mary of Teck actually reach the determination not to rescue the Russian imperial family as portrayed in The Crown? Officially, the verdict resided with the administration and with King George V. There exists no proof that Mary herself possessed the ultimate authority, but it is probable that she and her spouse arrived at the choice collectively. The administration, as a matter of fact, endeavored to convince George to reconsider his stance, but he remained steadfast. What rationale underpinned their failure to salvage the Romanovs? Firstly, revolutionary fervor was already potent in Britain. Ireland was embroiled in a civil conflict which would imminently culminate in its secession from the Commonwealth. Even the British throne experienced a sense of instability. Rendering and to foreign royals appeared hazardously precarious. Secondly, Alex was of German descent, and World War I had scarcely concluded. Anti-German sentiments were intensely acute.
Granted, Mary of Teck similarly originated from a German lineage through her paternal side, but she had matured in Britain and profoundly apprehended the populace and their apprehensions. Alex, conversely, with her frigid comportment and emotional aloofness, was perceived as detached and unsympathetic by both the Russian ports and the general populace. The prospect of ushering the Roman office into England would have constituted a political powder keg. It is not coincidental that, concurrent with this period, the British royal family altered its nomenclature from the German-sounding Saxe-Coburg and Gotha to the presently recognizable Windsor, a transparent endeavor to sever ties from German ancestry. As you can discern, George and Mary were exerting every conceivable effort to retain their grasp on the throne. This entire narrative of two families inextricably intertwined is tragic. Yet it also serves as a potent reminder of the inherent fragility of power, irrespective of its foundation spanning centuries, and of the imperative for even kings and queens to remain tethered to the populace.
It is not merely an option, but rather a sine qua non. It was presumably all the more heart-rending for Mary of Teck to witness her son Edward, subsequent to her husband's demise, so readily relinquish the crown she had aided in safeguarding, or to wed twice-divorced American socialite Wallace Simpson.
By the way, should a video concerning her be of interest, kindly indicate so in the comments. Her chronicle is intricate and captivating. Within the crown, the strained rapport between Mary and her son, the aspiring King Edward VIII, is depicted in exhaustive detail. He harbored the conviction that she was a deficient mother. However, was this truly the case? It is a perplexing query. Parenting during the Victorian epoch, which molded Mary's worldview, was predicated on the conviction that children ought to be observed rather than vocalized. It is manifest that she possessed some emotional resonance with her 6 offspring. Her anguish during protracted separations intimates this. Nonetheless, she presumably did not articulate these sentiments in a manner commensurate with contemporary parental expectations. For instance, she only beheld her eldest son twice daily during his infancy, and his initial nanny was reportedly so malevolent that she would inflict pinches upon the children to elicit cries in the presence of their parents, solely to garner sympathy. As previously alluded to, royal tours across the empire entailed protracted intervals of separation between Mary and her children. Notwithstanding, Edward retained some tender recollections of her, notably her private sitting room, which he characterized as a cozy and reassuring sanctuary. During the evenings subsequent to George's retirement to his study, Mary would occasionally serenade her children on the piano or invite them into her dressing chamber for the purpose of reading aloud, frequently excerpts from chronicles of the royal lineage.
However, in George's presence, she invariably sided with him, and her demeanor metamorphed into a colder and more formal manifestation. Edward's father, King George V, was an unwavering proponent of discipline. In his memoirs, Edward recollected that his father only embraced him on a solitary occasion throughout his entire existence. George conceded that he was at a loss as to how to interact with young children, preferring to engage exclusively upon their maturation. Physical chastisement was not atypical, and, at the time, was not deemed unconventional. Edward subsequently penned, "No words that I was ever to hear could be so disconcerting to the spirit as the summons, usually delivered by the footmen, that His Royal Highness,
wishes to see you in the library." This austere and detached ambiance also appeared to impact Edward's younger sibling, Albert, whom we recognize as King George VI, the progenitor of Queen Elizabeth II. From his childhood years, Albert grappled with a stammer and manifested as a timorous, withdrawn boy. When King George V succumbed and Edward ascended to the throne, the emotional gulf between mother and son had already widened considerably. His abdication solely exacerbated this schism. This effectively concluded their association, even though they maintained a correspondence through formal letters. However, that very predicament fostered a stronger connection between Mary and her second son, Albert, the one who unexpectedly ascended to the throne of Britain. He was ill-equipped for the role, and his health was precarious, causing his mother profound anxiety. Ultimately, her apprehensions proved valid. Mary would outlive him. Nevertheless, perhaps the more significant legacy of Mary of Teck was not among her immediate offspring, but rather her granddaughter, Queen Elizabeth II. Elizabeth inherited from her grandmother the conviction that allegiance to one's nation must supersede all other considerations. Mirroring Mary of Teck's dedication of her entire existence to the crown, so too did Elizabeth devote herself to the same unwavering commitment. Her legacy transcends the boundaries of mere royalty, embedding itself into the very fabric of British identity and the monarchy's enduring relevance. It is a testament to the strength of character, resilience in the face of adversity, and the profound impact one individual can have on the course of history. Mary of Teck's life was a tapestry woven with threads of duty, sacrifice, and unwavering devotion, and her influence continues to resonate through the corridors of time, shaping the monarchy and inspiring generations to come. She navigated the complexities of her era with grace and fortitude, leaving an indelible mark on the institution she served and the nation she loved. This impact stems not only from her role as queen consort, but also from the personal qualities she embodied: her unwavering loyalty, her quiet strength, and her profound sense of duty. These attributes, passed down through generations, have helped to define the modern British monarchy and its relationship with the people it serves. Her influence extended beyond the realm of politics and statecraft, shaping the cultural landscape and social fabric of her time. She was a patron of the arts, a champion of charitable causes, and a symbol of stability in a rapidly changing world. Her legacy is one of service, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the values she held dear. Her contributions were not always in the spotlight, but they were always significant. Her life was a testament to the power of quiet leadership and the enduring impact of personal integrity. Her legacy continues to inspire and influence the British monarchy and the nation as a whole. It is a story of resilience, determination, and unwavering dedication to duty. What are your impressions of Mary of Teck, her persona, her life story, and the magnitude of her influence on the British monarchy? Please share your reflections on this remarkable woman in the comment section. And if you were tasked with encapsulating her essence in a single word, what term would you choose? Consider her unwavering commitment to duty, her quiet strength in the face of adversity, and her profound impact on the institution she served. Was she a paragon of loyalty, a symbol of stability, or a force for change? Perhaps she was all of these things and more. Her life was a complex and multifaceted one, and her legacy is open to interpretation. Whatever your perspective,
we invite you to share your thoughts and contribute to the ongoing conversation about this remarkable woman and her enduring influence on the British monarchy and the nation as a whole. Her life was a testament to the power of quiet strength and the enduring impact of personal integrity. Her legacy continues to inspire and influence the British monarchy and the nation as a whole. It is a story of resilience, determination, and unwavering dedication to duty. Her impact extends beyond the realm of politics and statecraft, shaping the cultural landscape and social fabric of her time. She was a patron of the arts, a champion of charitable causes, and a symbol of stability in a rapidly changing world. Her legacy is one of service, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the values she held dear. Her contributions were not always in the spotlight, but they were always significant. Her life was a testament to the power of quiet leadership and the enduring impact of personal integrity. Her legacy continues to inspire and influence the British monarchy and the nation as a whole. It is a story of resilience, determination, and unwavering dedication to duty.